mapema. Mapenzi ni dhulumu, maisha haya si neema.
Kwani tutakula mapenzi tu,
Unanijua heshima,
ipo siku nitafaulu na roho yangu nitaikinga. Ni salama
salama nawe,
napiga
sala
na inama, lazima niname mbinguni, nafika yashamwagika na yatazoleka, siwezi shindwa, so ni salama salama nawe, salama yawa angomijara era olokorea chaya abebi na sina ubaya elkoda mokika pokisimo taya angomijara era olokorea chaya abebi na sina ubaya elkoda mokika pokisimo taya kirisim na taya oh kirisim na taya abebo kirisim na taya asebedo kamanyo manyonge kimamaramari mapino mayudo okoromi ju anybody awino Mariana ona umefanya biwanga jwer ulinidanganya utakuwa pamoja kodanya kache salama salama nawe napiga sala na inama sharti niname mbinguni nafika.
Yes, hamjambo. Welcome to the Swahili class. I do hope that you're doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here with us. I never do take your company for granted, and I just played as a jam which I thought should have been named Salama, or should have been titled Salama instead of Attire. But nonetheless, it's actually a jam for the one and only Okello Marx. He's from the lakeside, and that is Kisumu City. And I just played you a jam of his. And this particular jam has two things, and that is the lyrics of this particular jam and also the style of writing. It's quite impressive. If you look at the lyrics of that particular song, it has two, what you call the proverbs or the methali in Swahili. And one of the methalis on that particular one, or one of the proverbs on that particular one, is to the effect that mtaka cha mvunguni shalti ainame, mtaka cha mvunguni shalti ainame, and that if you are aspiring to get a particular thing, then you do have to work for that particular thing. That is what that particular proverb means, or the methali means in English. Mtaka cha mvunguni shalti ainame. And of course, apart from that particular one, there is also another one, and that says maji yakimwagika, or maji yashamwagika hayazoleki. So far in our previous classes, we have learned that water is known as maji. If you're asking for water, you would simply say nipe maji. But there's a saying that once the water has spilled, you cannot just pick it up. You cannot just, once you've put on the tap, there is no you're going to return that water back into the tap. So that reads that maji ashamwagika hayazoleki. Sometimes when a mess has already happened, it has already happened. There's sometimes that there are no situations where you can go back. And from the Swahili culture, we have wonderful words of wisdom in the form of proverbs. In the Swahili culture, we call that methali, methali, methali. All methali, all in the words of wisdom, you would actually say maneno, yeah. Wisdom, is it ujanja? No, not really ujanja, but let me just say wisdom. Let me see what is. Let me just trying to get the rightful interpretation, not to have you confused. It's not ujanja. Ujanja is actually just wisdom is hekima. So you would actually say maneno ya hekima, because wisdom in Swahili, wisdom is hekima. So words of wisdom in Swahili would be maneno ya hekima, maneno ya hekima. That would be words of wisdom, words of wisdom, all maneno ya hekima. You can also say maarifa, maarifa, maarifa. Maarifa is maarifa is when someone gives advice. So that is advice. And this advice comes in the way of proverbs, And proverbs in Swahili, we just normally know them as methali. Methali is proverbs. And from that particular Swahili jam I just played us, there are two proverbs that I just shared with us, methali. One of them says, mtaka cha uvunguni sharti ainame. It means that if you want a particular thing, then you have to really put in the work that goes into getting whatever results or fruits that you want to get. Apart from that, the second Swahili proverb shared on that particular jam, it reads, maji yashamwagika, maji yashamwagika hayazoleki. That is, if the water already spilled, then you cannot just pick it up or return it to the tap. If a mess has already happened, then it is difficult really to save or to save the salvage the situation and make things, take things on the reverse. It's really, really difficult. Nonetheless, welcome to class. And on this particular platform, we are here to just get to connect and learn Swahili together. We wanted to share with us some interesting, common, or basic Swahili words. Some of these particular words, we have already learned about them. Some of them might be new to us, but for those of us who have been with us in class, then none of these particular words is new. Number one is habari. Habari, these are words and phrases that are very popular. So habari simply means how are you? Habari simply means how are you? And if you're talking about how you get to share greetings, in Swahili, you get to share greetings in Swahili by simply saying habari. So it's a very formal way of saying habari. And someone might respond and they might say salama, or salama means well, S-A-L-A-M-A, salama means well. Or they might respond and say nzuri, nzuri, N-Z-U-R-I, that is nzuri. That is how someone might respond if they are greeted and they are asked habari. If someone says niaje, niaje is a very informal way of saying how are you, but niaje, you can respond and say poa, which is P-O-A, P-O-A. That is simply how you can respond and say poa, but it's a very informal way. If you wanted to say yes, if someone has asked you, je, utakula chakula, which means, do you want to eat? Do you want to eat some food? Do you want to eat some food? And you want to respond in the affirmative, you simply would say ndio, N-D-I-Y-O, N-D-I-Y-O, which is in the affirmative, and you are agreeing and you're saying yes. So if someone did ask, je, utakula chakula, you can respond and say ndio. If you didn't want to eat any food and you wanted to respond in the negative, you would say hapana. Hapana simply means no. Hapana simply means no. And if you try and talk about water, we have already established that water is referred to as maji, maji. And if you're asking for water, you can simply go ahead and say nipe maji, which is give me some water, give me some water. If you're talking about food, you would simply say nipe chakula, N-I-P-E-C-H-A-K-U-L-A. Chakula is for food. Or you might say ninataka chakula, which is I want some food. Ninataka chakula. Ninataka chakula is simply I want food. There, that would be ninataka chakula, chakula. Then that would be I want food. I want some food. I want to have some food. And if you're talking about maybe perhaps water, then you would say ninataka maji. Ninataka maji, which is I want some water. I want some water. The day before, we learned that if you're talking about something in small quantity, then you would say kidogo, kidogo. So you can say ninataka maji kidogo, that is I want a little bit of water. Or you might say ninataka chakula kidogo. The kidogo is an adjective and it means a little, a little. And if you're very courteous, you can say nipe maji, give me water, tafadhali. So for this T-A-F-A-T-H-A-L-I, tafadhali, it simply means please, tafadhali. So you can say nipe maji tafadhali, that would be give me water please, give me some water please. If you wanted food, you would say nipe chakula tafadhali, so that would be give me some food please. And if you wanted to say thank you in the language, in Swahili, you would simply say asante. And if you wanted to emphasize, then you would say asanti sana, asanti sana, ninashukuru. Ninashukuru is a phrase, ninashukuru is a phrase. It simply means I appreciate. Na shukuru, ninashukuru, shukuru is a phrase for I appreciate. I appreciate. It's a phrase. It means I appreciate. And therefore, if someone wants to serve you some food, they gave you some food, and then you did eat the food or you received the food and you filled up your tummy, then you would say asanti sana. Asanti sana means I thank you so much. And then you might say I appreciate, ninashukuru. Asanti sana, ninashukuru kwa chakula, for the food. So you might say ninashukuru, shukuru kwa chakula, chakula. That means I appreciate you for the food. I appreciate you for the food. I appreciate you for the food. So in case you're talking about maybe perhaps I appreciate ninashukuru kwa maji, then that will be I appreciate you for the water. I appreciate you for the water. And it's not even difficult. Learning Swahili, it's very, very easy. You just need to be very passionate about the language and also willing to learn. You know, you need to have that interest in the language. You need to be very eager to learn the language so that you are able also to just keep up with us even as we continue learning this beautiful language. Like I did say, Swahili is about over 1,000 years, over 1,500 years old. Over 1,500 years old. We're talking about maybe perhaps 7,000, maybe about 7,000 years. But if you're saying that you're thankful for the food, if you wanted to thank people for the food, you would say asanti sana, ninashukuru kwa chakula. Asanti sana, ninashukuru kwa chakula. Asanti sana, ninashukuru kwa chakula. That would be thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the food. But you might say asanti sana, ninashukuru kwa maji. That would be thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Thank you for the water. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you for the water. So when you are also talking about, like I did say, you just wanted to be courteous. You just wanted to be courteous. Then you would simply say, tafadhali nipe maji. Tafadhali nipe maji. Tafadhali nipe maji would be just give me some water, please. Give me some water. Give me some water, please. And in case you wanted to be very courteous and you did something wrong, you would say pole sana. You might say pole sana. Pole is just spelled the way you spell the word Paul. So you might say pole, or sorry. Or you might emphasize and say very sorry. You might say pole sana, for very, very sorry. So pole sana ndugu yangu, that would be very sorry my brother. Pole sana dada yangu, that would be very sorry my sister, very sorry my sister. So this is in a situation, or this is in a case where maybe perhaps you're wishing someone, maybe they have maybe they have had maybe they have had lost someone. They have lost someone, and this is a very dear person to them. This is a very dear person to them. And when you do say pole sana, you might say pole sana kwa msiba, pole sana kwa msiba uliowapata, pole sana kwa msiba uliowapata. So that would be, we are very sorry for the demise of maybe someone that has passed on in their someone that has passed on in their family. And the person would tell you asanti, asanti to share poa, asanti to share poa, because they understand that you're wishing them well, and therefore they would respond and say, asanti, asanti to share. Asanti to share, asanti to share, asanti to share poa. So if someone has wronged you, then that is simply the way you would have that conversation. Someone might say pole. Pole simply means sorry. And you might say, or you might also say samahani. But samahani now simply means, samahani simply means come again. Samahani simply means excuse me. Or samahani also means come again. Samahani, samahani, it means excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. But in the context of maybe perhaps a thing that you have not heard, maybe perhaps someone is away, they are a bit further from you, and they're trying to say something, but the thing that they are saying is said in a low volume. No, they say this particular thing, but they say it in quite a low volume, and therefore you might tell them samahani. You might tell them samahani. Samahani sijakuelewa, samahani sijakuelewa. Then that would be sorry, I did not understand. Sorry, I did not understand you. I did not understand you. And that is simply how you would simply tell them that you to excuse you because you never heard whatever they just said. That is simply the way you would put it. Swahili, once again, is not difficult. Now, my name is Pikes. And yesterday or the day before, rather, we were saying that if anyone wanted to introduce themselves to you, or you wanted to introduce yourself to someone, you would actually say, samahani, jina langu ni Spikes. Samahani, jina langu ni Spikes. The therefore would be, excuse me, my name is Spikes. Je, wewe, je, wewe. So, je, wewe, we have already learned that je, wewe, you might say, samahani, jina langu ni Spikes. Samahani, 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 jina langu Spikes. That will be excuse me, my name is Spikes. Samahani, jina langu ni Spikes. And then maybe perhaps you would go ahead and say, ningependa unieleze njia ya. So that would be ningependa, I would like, that would be I would like. If you're asking for something, or if you're asking for direction, you would say ningependa kuulizia maelezo ya kufika mahali fulani. Fika is to get somewhere, is to get there, or to arrive, So you might say ninataka maelezo ya jinsi ya kufika mahala fulani. So maelezo will be maelezo you're looking for. Maelezo is instructions. Maelezo means instructions. So you might say ninataka maelezo, ninataka maelezo, ninataka maelezo, ninataka maelezo. That would be I want instructions to direction. Instruction to a direction. So therefore, that would be ninataka maelezo. That would be I want instructions to a particular direction. Or if you're asking for the way to a particular place, you might say njia ya kuelekea kuelekea njia ya kuelekea nyumbani kwetu. So if you're looking for a way to get to some place, maybe you're looking for a way to get home, you'd say njia ya kuelekea nyumbani kwetu. Njia ya kuelekea nyumbani kwetu, because njia simply means a way. Remember, there are two ways, as we learned last time. If you're talking about the direction of a place, you might say njia ya kuelekea nyumbani or mahali fulani. So you'd say ninataka, it means I want. Maelezo ya kuelekea mjini. For example, I would want the instructions or the directions on how I can get to the city. Maelekeo ya kwenda mjini. Enda means to go to. Enda means to go. But on the contrary, fika means to arrive. Fika means to arrive. So if you say, ningependa unijulishe ndugu yangu atakapofika. That would be, I would like you to notify me when my brother arrives. Because you say atakapofika, then that would be when he or she arrives. Atakapofika. Atakapofika is when he or she arrives. Anyhow, we shall take a break. We shall play a jam. Once again, this song is a jamming. It's known as a tire. And now let's jam to it, and then we shall be right back.
Mapenzi yashanidhulumu, maisha haya ya sinema. Kwani tutakula mapenzi tu? Swali limenivua heshima. Ipo siku nitafaulu, na roho yangu mimi nitaikinga. Oh, ni salama, salama nawe. Napiga sala na nainama, lazima niname. Mbinguni nafika, yashamwagika na yatazoleka. Siwezi shindwa, so ni salama, salama nawe, salama. Jawa angomi jara, hera olokorea jaya. Baby na sina ubaya, mel koda mogi kapoki simo taya. Angomi jara, hera olokorea jaya. Baby na sina ubaya, mel koda mogi kapoki simo taya. Kirisim na taya, kirisim na taya. Oh, kirisim na taya. Abebo kirisim na taya. Asebedo kamanyo manyonge gima maramari. Matino mayudo okuromi ju anybody. Oh, awino Mariana, ona umefanya biwanga jwer ulinidanganya. Utakuwa pamoja kodanya kache. Salama, salama nawe. Napiga sala na nainama. Mbinguni nafika, yashamwagika, yatazoleka. Siwezi shindwa, so ni salama, salama nawe.
Yes, remember, ningependa maji please, tafadhali. Yes, Mr. Reparations. Yes, you would have exactly that. Utayapata maji, that means you'll get some water. Utayapata maji, because pata means to get. Pata, P-A-T-E. Pata, the two words that are almost quite pata. How do you say please? You say tafadhali, tafadhali for please, tafadhali, tafadhali, tafadhali for please, tafadhali. So you might say nipe maji tafadhali. Nipe maji tafadhali. Give me water please. Nipe maji tafadhali. So you'd say ningependa maji tafadhali. Ningependa maji tafadhali. And then after I actually serve you some water, you would say asanti or asanti sana. Asanti is for thank you. But if you want to say thanks very much, then you would say asanti sana, because sana is for the emphasis. Sana is for the emphasis. I just played you a jam. It's known as a time, but they keep on repeating salama now. Salama means well, salama. So someone says habari. If they're saying hello to you and they say habari, habari is simply how are you? Habari is simply how are you? How are you? You can respond like that guy responds or sings. He says salama. Salama simply means well. Salama means well, all okay, all okay. Salama also means fine, fine, okay, well, all those things. Or you can say nzuri. Yes, you can also say nzuri. If someone says habari, nzuri means good. Salama means well. So if someone says salama sana, they're saying very well. Salama sana. So you might say habari yako, which is how are you? Habari yako reparations. Then you would say salama. Or you can respond and say nzuri. Or you can respond and say njema. Njema means okay. Njema. It means okay. So you can have three ways to answer. You can decide to say salama, you can decide to say njema, you can decide to say nzuri, and all of them, they are understood to mean well, all okay. But you cannot always be okay. In some instances, your day is going bad, things are not actually adding up. So you might say mbaya, mbaya. Mbaya means bad. Mbaya means bad. So if someone says habari yako or habari, and you say mbaya, it means things are not going well, things are actually not looking up, things are at a bad place, and therefore you might say mbaya. But if you say mbaya sana, sana, it means that you're emphasizing, you're saying very bad, very bad. How are things going on for you? Very bad. You can say mbaya sana. If someone says umeshindaje, umeshindaje simply means how has your day been? How has your day been? And if you might respond and say salama, then salama would be in the positive. It means that your day has been okay, your day has been well, your day has been fine. Umeshindaje. Umeshindaje is simply in the evening, and someone is trying to know how your day was, and you might respond and say salama, or you might respond and say salama sana, salama sana. And you might ask je wewe. Je wewe simply means how about you? How about you? And that particular person would respond and say salama pia. Salama pia. Pia means also. Pia means also. So if someone says salama pia, it means I've been well, as I've been okay as well. Salama pia, that would be okay as well, or okay also. So if someone says je wewe and you respond and say salama pia, then salama pia is understood to be also, well, doing great as well. So thank you so much, reparations for joining us. We do say asanti sana kwa kuungana nasi. Kuungana nasi means for joining us. Kuungana nasi siku ya leo. Siku ya leo means today. Leo. Leo is like the star sign, Leo. So you would say siku ya leo. Siku ya leo. That means today. Today. So if I did say asanti sana kwa kuungana nasi siku ya leo, it means thank you so much for joining us today. Asante sana, thank you so much for joining us today. Kwa kuungana nasi siku ya leo kwenye darasa letu. Darasa is class. Darasa is means a class. Darasa means class. So if I did say darasa letu, it means our class. Thank you so much for joining us to our class. And someone might say asanti sana kwa kututembelea. Tembea means to visit. Tembea means to visit. But if you say tembelea, it means visiting someone. So if you do say asanti sana kwa kututembelea siku ya leo, it means thank you so much for visiting us today. Thank you so much for visiting us today. It's not difficult. Swahili is actually very, very easy to learn and to understand. What you just need to do is commit yourself, commit your mind to learning this beautiful language. And actually, over time, you realize that the more you practice, the more it becomes second nature. You know, they say a habit is a second nature, but also I would say that language also becomes somewhat of a second nature because you are able to just communicate and also connect with your roots in a much better way. And that is why we are here learning Swahili. I do say there are many languages on the African continent. We are talking about we're talking about 1,500 languages on the continent, and this is one of the most prolific languages on the continent. And I can say that maybe in the near future, maybe perhaps in the near future, maybe perhaps in the next 5 or 10 years, I think it will have gotten to a place where it becomes, adopted by so many other countries, not just in the East African region, but also in many other different places. I am talking about maybe perhaps even South Africa, because South Africa have showed their interest in learning the language as well. So if you're talking about also other words that are very, very popular, we do have, for example, someone might say you are welcome. We did say it's karibu. So if I did say karibu sana kwenye darasa letu la leo, it means you're much welcome. If you say that you are well, you might say mimi ni mzima, or you might say mimi niko salama. Mimi niko salama. If you're saying goodbye, you simply just say kwaheri. You simply just say kwaheri. And if you're trying to just get involved with the niceties, and these are the niceties of the day, you would simply say jambo for hello. You can say habari za asubuhi for good morning. You can say alaseri nzuri for good afternoon. You can say habari ya jioni for good evening. You can say habari for hi there. And you can say kwaheri for goodbye. And you can also say kwaheri tutaonana baadaye, which simply means goodbye, see you again later, or see you later. That is simply how you would say. You would simply say see you later in that regard. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Let's say niko salama. Niko salama. Niko salama means I am well. I am well. All it means I am okay. I am well. All I am okay. That is simply for Niko Salama. And if you're asking about someone else, you might say J wewe or wewe J. If you say J wewe or wewe J, it's understood to be how about you? How about you? And someone might say Niko Salama pia. Niko Salama pia. I am doing well. Awesome. I am doing well. Awesome. And in case you're asking about maybe questions about their day, you might ask unaelekea wapi or unaenda wapi. Unaelekea wapi? Wapi is where. It means where. So if someone says unaenda wapi, unaenda wapi, they're asking where are you going? Where are you going? Unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi? Unaenda wapi it means where are you going? Where are you going to? Unaenda wapi? But if someone is asking about nini, nini, N-I-N-I, it means what? N-I-N-I, it means what? So if someone is asking, what shall you eat? What shall you eat? What shall you eat? Therefore, they would say, utakula nini? Utakula nini? Utakula nini is what will you eat? And you say ninataka chakula kitamu. I want some delicious food. I want some sweet food. You would say, if someone says utakula nini, and you might respond ninataka chakula kitamu. It means I want some delicious food. But if you didn't know what you want to have, you have no idea. You don't know. Therefore, you would say sijui, sijui, S-I-J-U-I, which is I don't know. I don't know. That is simply for you have no idea. If someone was asking you, what shall you eat? Or what do you want? And you didn't actually know what you wanted to eat, then therefore it is in order for you to say that you don't know. You don't know. It's very, very in order for you to say that you do not know. And it's also understood to be just right in that regard. Because if you don't know something, then you cannot force yourself to know it. And therefore you will know. So we shall take a short break. But if you do have a question, please ask. We shall take a short break. But if you have a question, please ask. There's a song known as Sababisha. I think I played it a whole lot of times on this particular one, on this particular platform. But nonetheless, it's a good jam, and it's by the one and only Savara. So let's jump to that particular one, and then we shall be right back and learn some more Swahili. In case you don't know anything, you might say Sijui. In case you wanted to say ndio, yes, you say ndio. In case you want to say no, you say hapana.
Hey, mama alisema hii dunia si kifua ni ubongo, ubongo. Tell your truth, Savara, jiepushe na uongo, uongo. If anybody talk to my son, waonyeshe kisogo, kisogo. It's all inside you, my son, and you don't know, you just don't know. I pour my drink on ice, kuna vitu mingi zinani nice, zingine nime have to think twice. Ni nini nataka in life, lakini lini mta realize nilikata ku compromise. Una sasa tuna pay the price. What's it to divide? Cause after the rainy day, to the shine, we gonna light up all the way. All the way. Give thanks and treat, just don't forget to pray. Every day, don't delay. We thank God for the water we carry home. Cause we are sons and daughters of the soul. Cause the soil that I feel in between my toes. Across waters, yeah. I pour my drink on ice. Kuna vitu mingi zinani nice, zingine nime have to think twice. Ni nini nataka in life, lakini lini mta realize nilikata ku compromise.
Tuta shine and nyama choma. What will you have? Nyama choma. Yeah, that is you can have nyama choma and ugali, especially if you're just on a tour and you have visited Kenya and you wanted to have some nyama choma, then you can actually just get that served. Or you can have some pilau, and if you're at a restaurant and they're asking you, there are many options. You can have some pilau, you can have some ugali, you can have some mokimo, you can have some nyama choma, like you're saying. You can have chapati. I don't know if you know of chapati, my brother, but chapati. This is a chapati. Chapati is a. You can have that. You can have nyama choma. Nyama choma. You can have ugali. You can have pilau. You can have pilau. Pilau. You can have mokimo. You can have matoke. These are mostly very popular in Uganda, but also in Kenya, you can have it. So if someone is asking, Je, utakula nini? What will you have? What would you like to eat? Je, utakula nini? What will you eat? When you ask what will you eat, you might say sijui. If you didn't know, you might say sijui. Or you might say ninataka, which is I want, ninataka nyama choma. Ninataka nyama choma na kachumbari. Let me show you what is a nyama choma na kachumbari. Let me just show you right here. Nyama choma na kachumbari, because you can decide nyama choma na kachumbari. Kachumbari. Let me show you what it is. Images. So you might decide to have these share. Yes, you might decide to have these, because you might decide to have some nyama choma, some ugali, the white piece that you see in here. This is ugali, and then you can have kachumbari here, which is like pilipili, tomatoes, I don't know, a couple of things, onions. That is what you would have there. And ugali, let me show you. You can have, there's so many things that you can have. But in case you go to a restaurant and then you want to decide to have ugali, nyama choma, and some greens, then this is exactly what they would serve you. In case you just wanted to have chapati, this is what you can get at the restaurant. Yes, this is what you will get at the restaurant. This is what you will get at the restaurant, and this is a chapati for you. This is a chapati, and this is also very popular in the coastal foods. If you didn't want to have this, you might decide you just wanted to have some pilau. Let me show you some pilau here. Some pilau. This is also the coastal dishes as well, and you can have this. You can have this, the pilau here. You can have this. It's looking very delicious, just as it is. You can have pilau and nyama. Nyama is just meat, and it's very sumptuous. It's very delicious. You can have decide to have this. So you might say ninataka pilau, which means I want pilau. You might say ninataka ugali, or you might say ninataka nyama. There's so many responses that you can give when it comes to the choice of foods that you'd like to have. Or you might decide, let me just have matoke. So in case you're in Uganda and you ask, utakula nini? Say utakula nini? When someone says utakula nini, they're simply asking what will you eat. If they wanted to know what will you drink, they would actually ask utakunywa nini. Kunywa is for drink, so they would ask utakunywa. Do you eat chapati with cheese in Kenya? Utakunywa nini? What will you drink? What will you drink? Not exactly. We don't do that. What we do have as an accompaniment for chapati will be greens, will be nyama, which is meat. You can have it with like peas, like peas. You can have it with green grams and a stew, some stew. I don't think people have it with cheese here. If you go to a hotel and they serve you chapati, they can serve you chapati even with beans. It's called chapo beans. They can serve you with beef, chapo beef. You can have it in mostly in with peas or with beans, or with like maybe yellow beans or something, or French beans. They you can have it with beef. There's different ways, but I don't think cheese is chapati and cheese would be very popular. So you would say ninapenda. If you say I love chapati, I love chapati, then you would say ni points to self. Ni points to self. Penda is the verb of loving. Love, to love means penda. You say penda. So you say ni napenda, ninapenda, ni ninapenda chapati. Ninapenda chapati. It means I love chapatis. I love chapatis. But if you're just trying to emphasize, you would say Ninapenda chapati sana. Ninapenda chapati sana, which means I love chapatis very much, very much. It's one of your favorites. You love it. And therefore, you would say ninapenda chapati sana. Ninapenda chapati sana. That is simply how you would say it. But that is when they ask you, what will you eat? What will you eat in Swahili? You are asked, je, utakula nini? Utakula nini simply means, what will you eat? What will you eat? But if they're asking you, what will you drink? What would you like to drink? Then that would be, je, utakunywa nini? Because kunywa means to drink, utakunywa nini? They might also ask, je, unataka nini? Unataka nini simply is asking, what do you want? What do you want? Unataka nini? You, unataka nini? That would be, what do you want? Unataka nini? What do you want? Unataka nini? Utakula nini? That would be, what will you eat? Utakunywa nini? That is, what will you drink? Or generally, what do you want? Unataka nini? And you might say, ninataka maji ya kunywa. I want some water to drink. Ninataka maji ya kunywa. Or ninataka chakula kidogo. Ninataka chakula kidogo. That is simply how you say, I just want a little bit of some food. And then you might even be particular with the food. You might say, nataka pilau na nyama. Pilau na nyama, that would be pilau and some nyama. Nyama is meat, maybe beef or something. Depends on whatever you want to have. But you might just ask them to serve you the menu. You might say, "Party menu." Then that would be, just give me the menu so that I can see what options are available on the table, so that I may consider some of those particular options. And apart from that, if someone has served you the food, you might say, I am full now. I am full, or I am very full. If you're full, you're satisfied, you would say, nimeshiba. Nimeshiba, it means I'm full. Nimeshiba. Ni points to self. Nimeshiba. Shiba means to just get to be full. Nimeshiba means I'm satisfied. Satisfied. All, I am full. I am full. My tummy is full. My tummy is full. For the tummy or for the stomach, you simply say tumbo, tumbo. So you might say tumbo langu, tumbo langu, tumbo langu linauma. Tumbo langu is my stomach, my stomach. So if your stomach is aching, from something that you ate, you would say tumbo langu linauma. Tumbo langu linauma simply means my stomach is aching. My stomach is aching. And therefore, you're just trying to tell someone, sitaki chakula, tumbo yangu inauma. So, sitaki chakula, that would be, I don't want food. If you didn't want to eat, you would say sitakula. That would be, I will not eat. I will not eat. I will not eat is sitakula. So you might say sitakula chakula. I will not eat some food. I will not have some food. Sitakula chakula asanti. So that would be, I will not have some food. Thank you. So if someone was offering you food, you might say hapana, sitakula chakula asanti. So hapana, Hapana, is for, hapana is for no. Then you might say hapana, sitakula chakula. That would be no, I will not have some food. I will not eat some food. And that is simply how you get to just decline, maybe on the offer. Maybe they want to serve you some ugali and a fish. But ugali and fish, that would be ugali na samaki. Ugali na samaki. Na is a connector. Na is a connector. It means and. So if someone says ugali na samaki, they're simply meaning ugali and fish. Ugali and fish, because samaki simply is a fish. So they might be serving you, I don't know, tilapia or whatever other kind of a fish. But you can say sitaki chakula, or sitakula. Sitaki chakula simply means I don't want food. Or sitaki maji, it means I don't want. Whatever you say after sitaki, then that means you don't want that particular object. But you can always say nipe, forgive me, or nipatie, forgive me. So you might say nipatie ugali na samaki. That would be give me ugali and samaki. Ugali and fish. That would be give me ugali and fish. And that is simply how you put it together. It's not difficult. Remember, we are always learning Swahili over the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. Yesterday, we were not able to have that class, so that is why we decided to have it a little bit over that today. But remember to check out the official network website. It's www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Once you are on there, please create a profile. Please connect to the rest of the family on there. We do say iron sharpens iron, and that is going to be the company of our people that are like-minded with the same vision, the same hope for African unity, and just the connecting of our people globally as an African, as a Black people. That is where you ought to be on that particular platform, so that our minds, you can share ideas, you can share your thoughts and things like that, and just be there in that Pan-African love of our Black people globally. So thank you so much for being with us on this particular platform. We shall end it here. In case you want a copy of the notes, please feel free to write me an email, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, and I will be more than glad to hear from you. Maybe share some feedback on anything that you feel would be important, or maybe just a request for the notes, because you do have the notes. You can write to blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, blackhotfireafrica@gmail.com, in case you want to reach out, and I will be more than glad to respond regarding any of the things that you have touched on in our study class, or any other matter regarding the East African region. That is what I would be more than glad to hear from you about. So thank you so much. Kwaheri, asante sana, karibu sana, my brother. We do say karibu sana, and that is you're much welcome. And we do say ninakutakia siku njema. I wish you a good day. I wish you a good day ahead. Ninakutakia siku njema. Till next time, much peace and love. Kwaheri. Goodbye.